Hi, my name is Dave. I'm your host. You're listening to The Last Podcast, where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. If this is your first time listening, welcome. I'm happy you found me. And if you're returning, welcome back. I really appreciate you listening, and I hope you continue to find tips, ideas, and value from listening to this podcast. The name of this podcast is going to be called Finding Hope in the Darkest Moments. Now, today's episode is deeply personal, and it's one that I believe touches far too many lives: suicide and the silent battle that leads up to it. If you know someone, or you've ever felt lost, alone, or sometimes overwhelmed, that gives you that feeling where there is no other option, this episode is definitely for you. First, I want to say this: if you're feeling that way, you're not alone. There is help. There is hope. And even when it feels like no one else sees you, no one cares, or no one understands you, believe me, someone does. Someone cares, and someone loves you. So I'm going to jump into this little quick story real quick. It's about Jessica. Now, the morning was quiet. Jessica decided that she couldn't do it anymore. She sat at the edge of her bed. The light from a cell phone screen was casting a dim glow over the room. Unread messages, unanswered calls, and the growing silence that seemed to swallow her whole. The cascading thoughts in her mind playing over and over, magnifying the feeling of hopelessness. On the outside, Jessica was the one who seemed to have it all together. You know, she's the one who laughed the loudest and encouraged her friends and told everyone, "Don't worry about it, you got this." Always encouraging people. But inside, there was a storm brewing no one knew about. She was tired, not just tired of life, but tired of trying to live it. She had convinced herself that her absence wouldn't hurt no one, that her life just wasn't there or worth living. It was an echo in the world of loud noise, and nobody would notice. She also thought her kids were better off under the supervision of other people. And in that moment, she thought the pain would finally stop if she did. But life, in its strange and unpredictable manner, in a sacred way, had another plan. As she sat there, her phone buzzed. It was a message from an old friend, someone she hadn't spoke to in months, and the text simply said, "Hey Jess, you've been on my mind today. You okay?" That small question, those few words, produced a crack in her heart to shine light in those dark moments in the form of hope. She didn't respond right away. She just cried, not because of the message itself, but because it reminded her that someone did see her. Someone felt her absence before she was even gone. That night, instead of ending her life, Jessica picked up the phone. She called a friend, and that call became the beginning of her healing. And it wasn't easy. The days that followed were messy. It was full of therapy sessions, tears, and long walks, and she questioned everything. But slowly, she began to understand that the pain she carried didn't mean she was broken. It meant that she was human, and that it's a natural cost to sometimes be overwhelmed. It meant that she had survived something that once tried to take her spirit away. Months later, Jessica stood on the porch at sunrise. The sky was painted in soft pink and golds. A new day full of possibility. She smiled through the tears and whispered, "I almost missed this." She didn't have all the answers. She had enough change and chances. That was all she needed. It was a push to move forward, to live another day, to learn, to grow, and to be hopeful of all the new possibilities that she can experience. Now, recently, I know someone who tried to take their own life. It shook me to my core deeply. Not just because of what happened, but because of how quietly they've been suffering by themselves, carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. It made me realize how often we hide our pain behind smiles, busyness, or even silence. We live in a world where we celebrate strength, but rarely talk about the strength it takes just to keep going. And sometimes it's not about being strong. It's about surviving the moment. It's about reaching for more, and it's about reaching for that one more day and letting someone in. You see, pain doesn't always look like tears. Sometimes it looks like exhaustion. Sometimes it sounds like I'm fine. And sometimes it feels like emptiness, like life has lost all its color. When people are hurting that deeply, it's not that they want to die. They often just want the pain to stop. They want peace. But here's what I want to say. And I want to say this from the bottom of my heart. The pain can pass and the peace is possible. And when you are going through your silent storm, find someone you can talk to without judgment, because we can love you through your pain, through your storms. And if the darkness is overwhelming, we can love you and show up with a flashlight that shines the light of hope and be strong for you in your moment of weakness. If you're listening to this right now and you had those thoughts, please don't face them alone. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to be okay right now. Just reach out, talk to someone, a friend, a family member, or a professional who will listen without judgment. Reaching out for help is one of the most courageous and difficult things you can do. And I want you to know your story is not over here. You matter more than you realize. And there are people who want to walk beside you, not just to say, I gotta fix you. No, but to help you find your way to where you can see light through the darkness, through your dark moments that you might be experiencing. Talk to somebody. We might be able to bring light to your dark moment. And I want you to know something. You're not the only one who goes through this. Even thousands of years ago, people in the Bible went through it. There was moments that Moses cried out, I can't carry all these people by myself. He had a moment of weakness. And even Elijah, after great victory, fled into the wilderness and prayed and said, this is enough. I can't take it anymore. And Job, who was crushed by unbelievable loss, said, I loathe my life. These people wanted to give up. But guess what? Those passages remind us even the faithful can feel hopeless. God does not condemn them for their despair. He meets them in it. God meets us in our dark moments. In each of these stories, God responded with compassion, not judgment. To Moses, he pretty much provided help. To Elijah, he sent an angel with food. Now that's telling you, this is a little gentle encouragement for you. So I want you to think about something. God's heart is tender toward those who are hurting. Suicidal thoughts do not mean someone lacks faith. They generally mean that they are deeply wounded, and God specializes in healing wounds. If you or someone you know is struggling, don't wait for them to ask for help. Check in. Listen without judgment. Sometimes the smallest gesture, a text, a visit, or even a phone call, it can be the thread that keeps someone hanging on. You don't have to have the perfect words. You just have to be there in their moment of darkness to give them strength. Life can sometimes feel unbearable, but please hold on. Even in darkness, there is a dawn that will come. Your life and your story still has chapters to be written, and someone somewhere will be grateful that you stayed. If you or someone you know needs help in the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Line. And they're available 24/7, free and confidential. And if you're outside of the U.S., visit findhelpline.com, where you can find international hotlines and resources by country. Remember this, you're not alone. Help is here and hope is here. I thank you so much for listening. If this episode touched you, share it with somebody. You never know whose life you might save just by helping them hear these words. Until next time, you are loved, you are needed, and your life still has meaning. I believe in the power of new beginnings. I believe in the power of hope. I believe in the power of light in your darkest moments. I believe that healing is possible even when it feels hopeless. And I believe that if you still here listening to this, that means that life isn't finished with you yet. So I want to thank you for listening. My name is Dave. You're listening to the last podcast. I hope that you guys would share this. It is very important that the right people hear it. Now, I don't know who will hear it, but if you share it with somebody who seems down, who seems like they need to have a talk with somebody, share it with them and try talking with them. My name is Dave. You're listening to the last podcast. I thank you so much for listening. Do me a favor, subscribe and like this podcast. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. So long.